Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Coffee with Bobbi. Today I'm having coffee with Danny Shapiro. Danny is a Dutch trained physical therapist and specializes in manual therapy and return to movement. As a former professional ballroom dancer, he believes maintaining and promoting healthy movement is essential to maintaining a pain-free life. As a physical therapist, he has developed myomelt therapy, which is his own pain elimination technique that has helped people get rid of pain and get back to enjoying life faster than ever before. Danny takes enormous pride in being able to help people stay active and get back to doing their favorite activities for many years to come without the use of painkillers, injections, or even surgery. Danny, thank you so much for joining me for coffee today. Tell us a little bit more about what's been happening in your world lately.
Well, a lot. um, so I opened up my practice just before COVID started of last year, about right in the beginning of January. And obviously no one was planning for a pandemic, right? And everything kind of got a little wonky and crazy. Fast forward to today, I mean, I'm seeing so many people who really needed help. And what was interesting is that COVID actually put more attention on our bodies, right? Like we became a little bit more self-aware. So a lot of people after this year, essentially, of COVID have become a little bit more respectful to their own bodies. And I see that in the office. A lot more people are coming in and are more willing to go to physical therapy, right? To find out, okay, all right, this has been a crazy year. Everything's been about health, right? Coronavirus, health, what can we do to keep safe? And what I'm seeing now is that a lot of people are really trying to go and improve their well-being. And it's so amazing to see, people who've had pain for like 15, 20 years, who just, before they gave up, but now are actually starting to change their minds. And maybe there is a solution out there, right? And then they've, a lot of people that I work with have found me through Instagram and through my dancing videos and everything like that. And I try to inject as much positivity into people, into like not giving up, right? And that in combination with the health aspect of, again, this whole past year has been just absolutely wonderful. And that's been very different as opposed to before COVID started.
I think that's a true testament, though, like you said, over this past year, we've been all around, like we've been home. There's been more focus on taking care of you, like taking care of ourselves. There hasn't been all of this nonstop running around, and it's giving us all a time to think, like, am I really healthy right now? Do I have pain in my shoulder? Do I have whatever it may be? And how can I take action to like have a more fulfilled and healthier, pain-free life?
Exactly. Yeah. And that is so important, because it's a lot of the people I see, the average kind of age of people who I see is pretty much between about 27-ish to about like 45. Like typically on average, it's a pretty big range, but it's between this range. And everyone has so many more decades to go, right? So many more decades to live and experience and enjoy life, that there doesn't have to be pain, right? Like pain is such a big hindrance, not only just physical, like, oh my God, my shoulder hurts, but it's a very big mental impact, like the pain has, a psychosocial impact. And you don't need to live with this pain, right? Like low back pain is one of the most common types of pain there is, right? It's one of the most built for issues through insurance. But people don't need to live with low back pain. Once you know how to target it and you know how to work your way through it, no matter how long you've had it for. Even people with arthritis, stenosis, disc herniations, those things don't mean much. There's still so much that can be done. And once you do those things and actually experience that freedom, I mean, your whole outlook and quality of life completely changes. And it's so amazing to see.
Right, because now you're like, oh, my back doesn't hurt. I can go on a longer walk today. Or maybe I'll go back into running, or, I'm going to hit the gym and do something else today because, I'm not seeing this pain.
Exactly. Exactly. And something that actually just happened 3 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who had experienced a stroke about 11 months ago came into my office. And with stroke, there's different levels of like severity of what could possibly happen, also depending on what side of the brain, what was affected, and all those things. However, this guy, it happened to him 11 months ago, and only 2 months prior to him coming in 3 days ago was he able to start speaking and swallowing again, like speaking on his own. Before that, he couldn't speak at all. And so I'm talking with him, and like this guy it comes in with a wheelchair, has a cane, has an aid, and he's talking to me about why he wants to come and work with me versus and leaving his other PTs that he has.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I need more. Like I want more. I want to be able to, be able to walk down the block. He already walks 2 hours, 1 hour without a break. Rather, he walks 1 hour, then takes a break, then walks another hour. But he wants to go even further than that. He wants to walk blocks and blocks and blocks and miles. He wants to go for it. He wants to be able to drive his car again. He wants to like exercise again. And we all need to have that kind of mentality that no matter where we are, we need to push forward and think, okay, what else can we achieve? What else can we do? How can we push our physical limits in a healthy way, of course, and really experience the most out of life? And that to me was very motivating, that this guy who just a couple months ago was able to speak again for the first time since he had his stroke. And he already wants to do so many things that like it's great to see that drive. And again, people need to feel that drive. Don't be complacent. Don't settle for where you are just because you are in pain and feel like nothing can help. Your doctor prescribed you pain medications or injections, or the word surgery was thrown out there. No matter how long you've had it, even if a provider has failed you in the past, like you need to still have a drive to find the solution, because the solution is out there. You don't need to live your life in pain and limitations.
I 100% agree with you. And this hits home because so many people are like, oh, well, this has happened to me in the past and I'm just going to stay at this level. And like this even goes beyond our conversation of pain right now. Like the level of growth and the limitations that we have. Like I realized it last night. I was hanging out with some of my family and then I came home and I was like, I can't believe it. Like they're still staying so much in their bubble. And I'm a person that's like so much into growth, and they were complaining about work, and like granted they're older and like still in their same mindset. And I was just like, I never want to become that complacent. Like here I am having fun, having coffee with people around the world and so much joy and making videos and content. And it's like, how can you like stop yourself from that growth at any age and let's say like this is all life has for me?
Exactly. Right. That's exactly right. Like we need to be comfortable through the discomfort of pushing what our limitations are. Right. And regardless of what profession that you may have, I mean, like you get to speak to people all over the world, which is amazing. Right. From my end, I see people who come in with pain and erase the barriers that they have, whether they're physical, mental, or anything else. You could be a baker, but you can have the goal to be the best baker in your town, and don't stop experimenting with different foods and really love what you do. I think what's really missing in today, in medicine actually, especially, is the love for what you do and how you do it. That love is really missing. You may have started out with it, but someone or something beat you down, and you can't get back to loving it, and which is really unfortunate, because I think that we all do something for a reason, right? You do what you do for a reason. I do what I do for a reason. And no matter how crazy I think it'll ever get, we will still love what we do, and really want to just hold on to that love, and whoever we speak to or interact with, like we make it clear that we love what we do, and we're there for them, and we're there to speak with them. And I think a lot of that's missing in medicine, unfortunately, but also through everything else.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because I feel like it depends on where you're searching for that medicine. If you're looking at like modern US medicine and like the hospital route and so forth, 100% agree with you. Like, some people are there for the wrong reasons. They've gotten, or they started out with it, they got beaten down by the system, the corporate execs of hospitals and so forth. But when you start to seek out different medical professionals, like I just had on Dr. Jordan Burns, who's a chiropractor here in Indianapolis, and different people that I've sought out when I had health issues. Of like, you can find those people that still love what they do, but you're right. Like, you've got to be willing, if you're a person who's going through something, and say, this provider is not doing something for me, I'm leaving them, like your patient was, and saying, I'm seeking out somebody who I know will help me, who will listen to me, will challenge me, and help me get better.
Absolutely. And really interesting that you mentioned that. I'm a big advocate for leaving providers, huge, regardless of who it is. And interestingly enough, a lot of people have trouble with that. A lot of people have trouble with doing exactly what you just said, leaving the provider and finding a different one. It is very difficult. People get so used to having their PCPs, or people get so used to going to a particular physical therapist or a chiropractor or whatever provider that they've gone to in the past, and they're just going to them because they're just going to them. I can't tell you, every time I make a post about this on social media, I can't tell you how many messages I get of people saying, wow, because of you, this literally pushed me, this post, this conversation, this literally pushed me to leave my whoever the medical provider is, and find a different one. And now I'm incredibly happy, right? People need to have the courage to leave their provider. If like you said, if they're not doing anything for them, if there's negativity within the relationship, right? I don't care how good of a doctor you are, but if you are negative about everything and make me feel, I don't know, just beaten down, I'm not gonna go to you.
Right?
Right? I'll go find someone else just as good. You can't be the only guy, the doctor or the only medical provider who's that good. We all need positivity in our lives. There's so much negativity around the world. We need more positive people, and this includes medicine, right? If your provider is continuously just, again, suggesting pain blockers instead of an actual pain solution, find a different provider. If you're going into PT or to a chiropractor for months and months and months and months and months with little to no improvement, find a different provider, right? People need to have the courage and make that choice, because at the end of the day, you have to look out for number one, and number one is you, right? I'm number one to me. You're number one to you. And we have to look out for ourselves and make those hard decisions, because it is hard. Make those hard decisions to find someone else. And you might not find someone on the first go around, the second go around, or the third go around, but you will find an amazing provider. You just have to have the courage to do so.
And I want to add on to this, for somebody who's making excuses, listening to this, saying, okay, you're pushing me to get out there, but this doctor has seen me, or this provider has seen me for years, and I've got all this medical history and labs with them. Like, that data can be transferred. A lot of it's electronically, and it can happen instantly. So stop making the excuses in your head if you're not getting better. Like, that excuse is not even valid.
No, it's not. And lab values aside, you still know what happened to you.
Right?
Right? Like, if my shoulder hurts, I can tell you, okay, like 6 months ago, I don't know, I punched someone in the face in self-defense, and ow, my shoulder hurt. Like, you can retell your history, you can retell your story and transfer those lab values over, absolutely. And even if you have to invest in, let's say, one session where you have to really sit down and tell that new doctor your history, but that doctor or PT or chiropractor is amazing and helps you so much, wouldn't you say that it's worth it? That hassle and stress of finding someone else is so worth it, incredibly. And that's like, it just changes your life. Yeah, it really makes a big difference.
Hands down. And I will say this, 9 times out of 10, if you have a long history of something that's happened to you health-wise, like I had it, I don't know, it's been 11 years ago now, and I was going from doctor to doctor. But when you find that one person or that team that helps you out, it doesn't matter if it's an hour-long conversation or 2 hours long. They will sit there, they will listen, they will absorb your information and be like, okay, here's the new game plan.
Yeah.
Like that would be the first time that somebody's ever heard that.
Yeah, and again, you'll only be able to experience that if you are unhappy and you go find someone else, you'll be able to experience what it is to sit in front of someone who really has only your best interest in mind, right? Like when someone comes into my office and we talk about goals and I explain to them, like, I'm literally here for you. First of all, I tell them, you got full access to me. You can call me, you can email me, you can message me. Nobody ever has to wait till the next appointment to get in contact with me. Everything is very kind of like, I'm literally grabbing your hand and we're going to the finish line together. But I will literally tell someone, look, like your goals are my goals, right? I'm getting wherever you want to go. If you want to go kite surfing, if you want to just be able to play basketball or just go walk with your friends for a half hour, I'm going to make sure that all of that happens. And we get you that result. I think I had a patient who I just actually finished off with care for must have been like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And this was crazy. When we initially spoke, I was so shocked. So this girl, she's a professional ballet dancer, a modern dancer, and she has been through 10 providers who have not been able to help her. Right, little improvements here, then it kind of stays the same. And she literally had to step away from ballet for a very long time and actually switch styles that had less of an impact on her body. She wasn't able to perform. She was only teaching. And as a performer myself, I can tell you that when you can't perform and you can't step on that stage, it is heartbreaking. Just it makes you feel beaten down and really, really heartbroken. And she felt exactly the same way. She wasn't able to perform. She didn't feel like she had that freedom like she used to before her injury. And all it took was a little bit of attention, a little bit of a tailored approach to what exactly she's experiencing. And now she's back at it. She's training for summer intensive. She's getting ready to get back on the stage, join a company, and she has her life back, where before she didn't think that was possible. And it's just she went through 10, right? Not 1, not 2, not 3. She went through 10 different providers and still had the courage and the drive to find just one more. And that just one more was enough. And now her options are completely open.
That is amazing. Like, not only a testament to her seeking out proper care, but even to you, like, you're getting people who love what they do and love performing and love competing, it doesn't even have to be an athlete or a performer, but somebody, maybe it's a parent who just wants to be able to play with their kids and carry their kids around. You're getting them to that place and saying, we're getting there. And it is happening, so don't tell me otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny that you say that, because I use aggressive positivity, like in particular aggressive positivity, because it's a lot of people when they come in, they have these doubts, and especially people with long-standing care, they doubt you can help them. They doubt anything can be done. And when you tell them aggressively, no, listen to me, if running is your goal, we're gonna get you there. They're like, what really? Oh,
come again?
Wait a sec. Okay, let's see. Like this girl, she was very doubtful. She was just doing it just because she wanted to find some kind of answer, at least as what's going on, because she had 10 different providers, 10 different opinions on what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
that's confusing. Well, what? There's 10 different things that's happening with one leg, with one hip. I mean, it turned out to be something very simple. And usually it's simple things that are the like obvious answer, but everyone tries to get all convoluted and complex, but it's anyway. So, like when we spoke on the phone for the first time, we had a good like 30-40 minute conversation. I told her, like, look, if your goal is to dance again on stage, get ready. It's happening. Come in. We're gonna get you there. Like, if your goal is to do a summer intensive, which that's her next goal, this audition in the summer, which is supposed to be very intense, and where she actually got injured the last time she did it, I told her, guess what? You can be able to do this without an injury, and you're gonna feel amazing doing it, the best you've ever felt. Like, wait, really? Okay, let's go. Let's do it.
Game on.
Yeah, and we all need an aggressive, like someone who is aggressively positive, you know, to really help steer us away from this negative mindset or this kind of pitfalling. No, I can't get better. No, I just have to be stuck here. No, this is just the way it is. No, it's not. It's really, really not. So.
It's not as complicated as we make it seem in our minds for anything.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, no, we'll make a million excuses as to why we are stuck where we are, but to make the actual decision to take a step forward and actually go into the right direction, again, just that's hard. It's hard. It's very difficult, especially if you've been let down by someone in the past. It's hard to take that step forward, you know, in general. Listen, I a few years ago, I myself had a very bad injury. I couldn't walk. This is about 6 or 7 years ago. It was a stupid mistake. I injured myself, and I went to a chiropractor. Nothing. Went to another place. Nothing. Tried this thing. Nothing. In the end, I actually had to rehab myself, which was uncomfortable, but it happened.
And you were probably, I'm going to interrupt a second. You were probably harder on yourself than any of the other providers.
Oh yeah. I was kicking
to get you there.
Yeah. I was kicking myself in the ass real hard. So, you know, through that rehab process, I really took myself on a journey of like, because I come from about 16 years of professional dancing. Like I was top in the country. I was an international traveler and representative of the US and world competitor. So to me, movement meant everything, right? And the fact that I had this injury and I couldn't move, I couldn't walk. I literally could not walk without I like to call it the thunderbolt of Zeus going through my leg and into my foot, and every step I would take. And it was frustrating for me to have to take the least lazy way out and actually rehab myself. But I learned a lot about myself and my mentality of how far can we push it, right? When you think you're done in therapy, when you're doing your, you know, special exercises and stretches, are you really done? No. We can push another few reps. We can do another few seconds. And that's really what got me out of it and made me stronger mentally to be able to kind of approach anything else in the future. And I try to empower people with that mentality all the time. And it makes a massive difference.
For sure. And that's incredible. You know, like you took the initiative on yourself to say, I have this injury. I'm not letting it limit me. This life that I have with pain is awful. Like, it's time to move on from this. It's time to get better. And if this solution isn't working, just like you've been preaching to everybody else, like, find a different solution, try something else. You found it, you had the answers within you. And it was like, it's time to do it.
Yeah. It's the only way out. Whether you have the information on your own or have to seek it, you really need to be strong about it and really, again, don't be scared to put in a little bit of work, right? Make the step forward. Whether, again, find a different provider, find a different solution, find another, you know, this is something I can talk about all day because I see this all the time in my office. Everyone who comes to me, like I do see a lot of like acute injuries, things that have happened in the last couple of weeks, but I do treat a lot of long-standing issues with athletes and people without. And the biggest thing that I see is fear to try, as well as being beaten down by both their pain as well as previous providers and family and friends. Everyone just beating down like, oh, disc herniation, oof, that's it for life. I worked with this individual, and they had a disc herniation, and their doctor told them, you'll just have to live with this for the rest of your life. I'm thinking, what? What the? And I was shocked. I was like speechless. She was looking at me. I was like, I couldn't produce words. I was so shocked that someone was told this, because it couldn't be further from the truth.
Right.
Like, it's insane.
That is crazy. Like, health is wealth. And I mean, we were talking about subconscious minds when I had Jordan on, who's the chiropractor, and everything else. And then when you hear somebody who's like a provider and just saying, you know what, this is it. I'm like, there's nothing else we can do for you.
It's infuriating.
Yeah, it blows my mind.
Yeah. But this is what people are told every day, like every single day. And listen, for all that I'm saying, I'm not saying that all doctors are bad, or all PTs are bad, or all chiropractors are bad, or whoever. There's amazing providers out there, amazing. But unfortunately, they are the minority, right? Almost every single patient that I've had walk through my doors has told me about some negative experience that they've had with a provider, right? And this all contributes. Listen, like, majority of people who don't have medical knowledge or information or are medically trained, you don't know. You go to the doctor, like, what's going on with me, doc? And they tell you, you got this, good luck. What? Like, what is the person supposed to think? You know, this is how people live on a day-to-day basis. And a lot of people go through this experience. A very large percent, over 90% of the people who come in through my doors have had that experience. And it beats you down. It really, really beats you down. You know, I had a woman come in, she had, for 15 years, she had neck, mid-back, and shoulder pain. And she came in sitting like this. And like, she had no clue if she could even be helped or what could be done. Yeah. It's wild. I had a scoliosis patient come in, had a 30-degree curve. She was told that she needs metal rods inside her spine to fix the scoliosis. The surgeon said it's impossible for you to fix it at this point. You know, you've grown up past, you know, your growth plates have closed, all kinds of excuses as to why it would not be possible. Thankfully, they said no, where I'm not getting a metal rod inside my spine, and she came in through my doors. We dropped the curve by 10 degrees, from 30 to 20. The surgeon was so shocked, he took the surgery off the table, and he's like, how the hell did you do this?
Right.
What did you do? Right? There's a solution out there. You gotta find it. Don't rest until you do. These miracle stories are not miracle stories. There is just tailored and attention to detail kind of care to get people out of this little slump that they're in. Right? And now our next goal is to drop it to 15. Right? That's awesome. Go further into what is impossible, because nothing is impossible. Nothing. Yeah. You can always make improvements. Even if they're small improvements, you can still make them. And people need to realize that. And
you're taking people on the journey to being optimal, like from substandard to standard, thinking, you know, like, I have to be this way forever. Just saying, no, like, you can be optimal. You can be back at your peak state and better than what you thought was at peak state.
Yeah, or at the very least, drastically improve where you are, right? The goal is always optimal. The goal is always to get people to be at an optimal state, always, you know. But again, at the very least, you know, at the very least, if we can improve just by 20%, would you be happy? Most people would say yes, right? If we can improve by 15% or 10%, would you be happy? Yes, it's still an improvement, right?
It's better than where I'm at right now.
Exactly. I know I'm throwing a lot of stories at you here. There's so many. I was working with this woman who, when she came to me, she's been through a lot. Full body, head to toe pain, just surgeries and injuries, and it was bad. And when she sat down at my table, I usually like to do a little test for people who are very sensitive with pain, who, like, it's clearly just moving is difficult. I usually like to do something very simple. I have them sit on my table and I say, okay, I take my keys and I, drop them like 2 feet away. And I say, okay, just can you reach for my keys? This woman couldn't even reach for my keys, even when I put it from a foot away. She could barely tilt over just to even attempt to grab it. But before electric shooting pain throughout her entire body, just fired everything. Now she's working out, lifting 15 to 20 pound weights above her head and doing all sorts of planking and exercising, leg exercises, and she's dropped 60 pounds.
Amazing.
No problem with moving, little aches and pains here and there, right? But oh my God, it is a completely different person. She has her life back. She can actually walk down the block. Has so many different options that are now open to her because she had the courage, and she's been through a lot of providers, a lot, right? And finally, someone was able to empower her and again, help her to move again. She was considering retiring early because the pain was so intense. It was actually she was a teacher. She was a professor in a college. The pain was so bad, it was actually starting to make her forget the content of what she's teaching. She was being constantly distracted by pain that she was considering early retirement. Now that's not even a thought.
It's like, I'm back, game on.
Let's do it. Yeah. She used to take like 6 to 8 edibles a day. She hasn't taken one in months and months. It's, again, attention to detail, the love for what you do, really wanting to help, really trying to contribute and give everything that I as a provider have to the individual that's sitting in front of me. It's so important. It's so important.
I want to dive into this because I think it's a little bit of both of like your technique to how to treat the pain and also the mental empowerment that you give to people as a provider. And it's not only just like spreading positivity and saying like you can do it or being hard with your positive messages to challenge them, but let's go into this empowerment. Do you see it for yourself?
Do I see it for myself? What do you mean?
Like, do you see yourself as an empowering figure for your patients and clients?
I certainly try to be. I try to be as empowering and as supporting as possible. Absolutely.
Because I see it just hearing your story. Like just hearing the stories is like, yeah, if I walked into your clinic with pain or anything like that, and I knew that there was no excuses and I'm walking in with the intention to attempt to get better and I have you guiding me, like that's empowering right there. Saying, like you're going to stand by me every single step of the way and challenge me and push me a little bit harder out of my comfort zone and out of this bubble of, naysayers. And even when it's family or whatever environment you're around and you have somebody on your team supporting you and saying, let's go. Like, those are like, let's not listen to them. Like, this is a different road we're taking.
Exactly. Yeah. We took a U-turn, did a K-turn. We're going on a different path now at this point. Again, this is something I could talk about all day, and it is super important because I really do try to be as empowering as possible. So many people are beaten down, and it kills me. And I know what that felt like. Again, when I got injured, I felt beaten down. It was just bad. It was my lowest pit of just my mentality and physicality. Just everything was at its lowest point. And I never want people to feel that way because it's just terrible. And luckily, because I took the right steps, that for me was only just a few months long. But for a lot of people, it's been years of just feeling this beaten down, this loss of hope. And I'm gonna be that positive kick in the ass to get you going. I'm gonna make sure that I am there for you. Gonna grab your hand, literally take you to the highest pedestal that we can take you. And I'm gonna show you what life is really about. How freeing life can be, how amazing things can be when you don't have this pain. right? No matter who you are, we are going to make something happen and make sure that you feel freaking amazing, right? And that's, I try to inject that into every single person when they walk in. I want you to feel that aggressive positivity, that aggressive support, because most people lack it. Most people have a lack of support, a lack of positivity, a lack of drive, or someone who can show them, okay, we're going to take steps A, B, and C, and this is what we're doing, and this is why we're doing it, right? An explanation of education. Education is so missing. You can ask any of my patients that leave my door. They'll be able to tell you what muscles are the problem. What like I literally have diagrams all across my room, and I tell you, okay, look, this is exactly what's happening here, because like we connect the diagrams to the body, and I show them, and it's just this whole experience that you leave a completely different person, not just physically and mentally, but also you actually are given the tools to treat yourself and help yourself in the future. You're able to actually come home to your family and be like, hey, this is what's going on with me, A, B, and C, and because of X, Y, and Z. You know, and it's just, I love doing this, and this is what I live for. I live for these kinds of experiences and to share this knowledge and experience with people that, like, it's gonna be a great time.
Yeah,
when you come into my door, it's gonna be a
from
great
you.
time.
And that's when you know you were doing the right thing, that you were meant to do, and you get to help people every single day. And some people you're probably, no, you guarantee it, you're even helping online that don't even send you a message, that you don't even see you walking through your door.
Oh my God.
Like,
Yeah.
if you think about it, it's like mind blowing exponentially of the amount of people that you're helping. As we talk about like growth mindset, especially for your patients and like getting them to grow outside of that, like you said, like pain-free and a new mental state of having this positivity. Have you seen it with them as well? Like as they go through your care, as they start to get better, that they're leveling themselves up and taking on new challenges outside of physical challenges?
Oh my God, all the time. It's so cool to see. It's literally like a transformation from when we start through the middle and through to the end. It's a complete transformation of the individual themselves. I've had people who were just working out and exercising, for example, just a simple thing of exercising. Now, exercising doesn't have to necessarily be in the gym. You can literally be going out for like an hour walk, right? Exercising could be anything. Exercising wasn't on their minds at all, right? But then as they felt more empowered, as they felt better physically, as they felt better mentally, the idea came to them on their own. Like, oh my God, if I can do this, what? How about exercising, right? Or how about going for a walk with my friends? Or how about going to play basketball in the local park with my friends? Or it could be anything, but that transformation does happen. It's literally the person changes. I had one person who, in the beginning, I remember I had my first appointment with them, and I told them, like, look, you know, based on what we just did today, you'll probably be a little bit sore, totally normal, totally, you know, expect it. It's not gonna be like your typical pain. It'll be like an achy, tender, whatever. And they're okay. And then the next day, sure enough, it happened. And they called saying like, oh my God, Danny, my body, I don't know what's happening. Oh, everything's falling apart. I'm like, whoa. Take it easy. Right. And we talked through it for like 45 minutes. You know, again, this was not an appointment. Patient just reached out to me. I had that time, and I want to spend that time just like assuring them that everything's okay. Fast forward just 4 appointments later, again, a little bit of soreness and everything, but she actually told me, she's like, Danny, listen, I felt that soreness, I felt that tenderness and achiness, but I was calm. I was like, okay, this is part of the process. This is okay. My body is just responding to what we're doing. Just that little shift from panicky and stressed and worried to, oh, okay, I know what this is supposed to feel like versus what pain feels like. And just that switch and like in knowing how you're feeling and knowing what to expect, it changes a person greatly. You stress out so much less. You have less stress, your improvement increases, your health improves just It's just that little tiny little switch, right? This happens all the time. People come in really worried, scared, terrified, stressed out, and they don't leave that way.
Walk through these doors and you'll come out a brand new person.
Pretty much, yes, pretty much. Yeah, at least if it's not for me, then it's I don't have it in here, but on the office floor, there's a whole bunch of like art, like canvas art. That's super positive. I have one in the patient room where I have like positivity is the answer, or like on the outside it's like a big Monopoly thing that says make goals and go, pointing to the room, to the door.
Yeah.
Like it's just everything when you step into the office, even the music, right? It's all like bringing life back into you, and that is, again, that's also very important. You got to have that.
It's super important, and it's great that you're doing this. Like, and this is just isn't me saying this to say it. Like, you're helping so many people. You're doing amazing things and being a light that we all need in our lives. And you're sharing it in a way, you know, most people are like, oh, you just got to share the positive messages and do this, but you're having fun with it. You're showing people, you know, life can be pain-free. Life can be what you make of it. So let's make the best of it. And let's be pain-free.
Exactly. And that's a big reason as to why I do what I do on social media, because there's only so many people I can see in a day, and so many people that I can see in Brooklyn, New York, right? But through social media, and you mentioned this before, I have gotten tons and tons of amazing, beautiful messages. The most recent one I can remember is someone who had leukemia, you know, and had their body had been beaten down, and she literally wrote like, hey, I love your videos. That actually helped me to feel better from dealing with the effects of leukemia and the treatment of it. Like that just melted my soul. Like that is amazing. All the comments and messages I see where they wrote, Danny, I tried this one move and it was literally made the biggest difference. This one move made more of a difference than my entire journey with my PT. This one move this one move that, and this is amazing. This is why I do what I do and the videos that I post. And the style within which I post them, you know, there's a reason I do a dancing theme, because the stretches and moves that I post, while general and not specific to a particular, it's because it's impossible, you can't do that, right? Mm-hmm. It's impossible for me to know what specifically everyone is dealing with when someone says hip pain, because they can be so many different things. But, you know, by including a little bit of dancing and a little more fun, people make it's more of a lighter approach. It's not like, oh my God, I have to do this exercise for my pain. It's, oh my God,
you're telling me I have to stretch after running, you know, like foam roll.
Oh my God, don't get me started on foam rolling. My God. Goodness. But yeah, I mean, this is like, we gotta make it fun, right? Being in pain or going to the doctor is not fun. It's not a fun experience. Like, it is so dreadful going to like a doctor, like, oh my God, I have to go to the doctor. I don't know what's going on with me, right? While yes, there could be very serious things. Like I've had people with very serious things come into my office. Just again, the most recent example, which I already told you about, was a stroke.
Yeah.
Right. But there's no reason why you can't make it a good experience, right? You can make it fun. Like I'm known for my really bad dad joke, and I'm not even a dad, but the dad jokes in here are horrendous. I have patients face palming all the time, but it's hard.
But it makes it lighthearted.
Yeah,
like, it's an easy way to break down the barrier.
Yes.
Plain and simple. Like the barrier's gone. It's no longer I'm walking into a doctor's office. I'm not going to traditional therapy appointment. It's like, I know I'm coming into this and it's going to be a fun experience and it's going to be the highlight of my day, probably.
Yeah. When you walk into an office and they're playing reggaeton music and you walk in and my goofy self jumps out and says, hey, welcome. And, you know, we go right on into the room and I've had Bernadette is my client success specialist. She sits in the front, she greets patients, she calls them, interacts with them. And in the beginning, when she first started working with me, like she didn't fully understand. Like she got our whole thing, like our whole deal, but she didn't fully understand to the level of it. So like the first couple months where it was literally like constant laughter, no matter the patient, there was constant laughter coming from the room. And after every appointment, she'd kind of like, once the patient would leave, she'd kind of duck her head in and she'd be like, "Hey, Danny, is everything okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, why?" She's like, "Oh, you guys were laughing so much. Like, everything's okay? Like, you guys actually did some therapy?" I'm like, "Yeah, we did therapy the whole time." Like, it's just, it's the experience, right?
Right.
You don't feel like you're going to the physical therapist. You don't feel like you're going to the doctor. You feel really good coming out. You feel very light and very like, like just full of life and just like you just had fun.
And that's the key.
Yeah.
You just had fun.
Exactly. That in itself just makes the experience so much better.
I love it. And I'm so glad you're doing amazing things, Danny. What's been one of the greatest blessings for you over this past year?
The biggest blessing, and this may sound repetitive or corny, but the biggest blessing is having people walk through my door and me being able to help them. That is the number one blessing to me, because that's, for me, waking up every single day, opening my eyes and thinking, wow, in just a couple hours, I wake up early. Yeah, in just a couple hours, I get the opportunity to improve someone's life. Now that to me is massive, right? To improve someone's life where they can go through the decades of life that they have left and know that I have made an impact within their history and within and changed what their life means to them. That to me is the biggest blessing. That to me is the most important thing. That is what helps me get out of bed in the morning and makes me sleep soundly at night. That is the number one thing that I think about all the time is, wow, I have the opportunity. The blessing is being able to help people, because that is just what drives me through everything that I do, through all the social media, through all the things I do in here. That is it. Just being able to help people live a better life and making an impact. I love that.
You are by far doing that. And I wish you continued success on this, because you're impacting so many people, like outside of New York, outside of your office in Brooklyn, and just seeing the unending joy that you have. It's contagious. So keep on having it, keep having that drive. And if something like starts to make you go like, I don't know about this, take a vacation and then come back.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. Thank you. No, I really appreciate it.
Where can we find more information out about you, Danny? Website, social media, etc.?
Sure. So, I mean, if you are from New York, New Jersey, and now newly registered in Florida, you can check out my website on projectphysicaltherapy.com, as well as on social media. I'm most on Instagram, so official Danny Shapiro. That's where you can see me dance like crazy and show you a ton of great moves and information, and share anecdotal quotes of my beliefs and like where you'll get to know me the best. For anyone who is interested in finding a different solution and finding a different way out of their pain and feeling their best, I do have something called a free discovery session. It's essentially a 30-minute where, if you're close by and you want to come into the office, awesome. If you want to do it over Zoom, not a problem. It's a free 30-minute conversation where you and I can meet, talk. You can tell me about what's going on. I can tell you about what my process is, how we do things. And again, it's totally free. No, don't even worry about it. And it's a chance for us to experience each other and you to experience my really bad jokes, which I promise, are really, really, really bad. So there's that positive.
And I'm sure there's probably some dance moves in that Zoom call too.
If people make the request, I'll do like a little body wave there, a little crazy thing here and there. Actually, depending on the individual, I do actually say like, we'll be salsa dancing out by your last appointment. Like we'll be salsa dancing through the halls. Like it's like as a freedom. Because again, I have a lot of dancers. I have a lot of even people who are not athletes, but they just want to dance. They love dancing. And another last quick story. I had a woman who had, again, total body pain, really, really bad pain, was stuck with it for years. And as we were getting better and she was feeling so much better, she actually told me that after a few sessions, she actually started to, she usually cleans and cooks with music on. She actually started to dance in place, which she hasn't been able to do. And she told me that she actually just instinctively started dancing and it felt amazing. And I was like, what? This is crazy. I love this. We're dancing by the time you get out.
Yes, that's so much fun.
Yes.
Moment music's on, I'm dancing, reggaeton, you name it around here. So music's always going.
Oh, amazing. Amazing.
Danny, I love it. I'm so glad we had coffee today. You are an absolute joy, sharing so much light, positivity, and getting people to be pain-free. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Bobbi, for this opportunity. It was so amazing talking to you. This is an amazing experience, and would definitely be down to do this again. This is wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yes. And for everybody who is listening and watching this episode today, I want to leave you with one thing. If you are experiencing pain, if you're experiencing sort of like the same olds with your providers, use this as an initiative to seek out better care. Wherever you are at in the world, like, you don't have to live like this. You know, Danny's preaching it. I've been through it myself. Numerous other people have been through it. So seek out that different care, the right care for you. There's a provider out there who's willing to take the chance and help you every step of the way. This has been another episode of Coffee with Bobbi and today's guest, Danny Shapiro. Thank you so much.